The quake hit after midnight, then thousands had to evacuate. On May 18th, at 12:21 a.m. local time, a magnitude 5.2 earthquake struck China's Guangxi region, near the city of Liuzhou. Most people were asleep. No warning, no time to react, just the ground moving in the dark, and in seconds, buildings started coming down. At least 2 people were killed, several others were injured, more than 7,000 residents were evacuated, and at least 13 buildings reportedly collapsed. This was not one of those massive magnitude 7 or 8 earthquakes people usually associate with major destruction. It was magnitude 5.2, but it was shallow, and when a shallow earthquake hits close to communities, the shaking can be violent enough to damage homes, trigger landslides, block roads, and send entire neighborhoods into emergency mode. That is what happened in Liuzhou. Rescue teams moved through collapsed structures. Sniffer dogs were brought in. Earth-moving equipment was used to search through the debris. And one of the most intense details, a 91-year-old man who was initially missing was later found alive. Imagine the fear in those first hours. The quake hits after midnight. People run outside in the dark, buildings are cracked or collapsed, roads are blocked by landslides, train services are disrupted, and thousands of people are told they cannot safely stay in their homes. That is why this story matters, because earthquakes do not need to be the biggest on the scale to change lives on the ground. A magnitude 5.2 can sound moderate until it hits at 12:21 in the morning, near buildings that cannot handle the shaking, in a region where slopes can fail, and people are sleeping when it starts. And this came while parts of southern and central China were also dealing with heavy rain and flooding. That means the ground in some areas was already unstable. Wet soil, blocked roads, flood impacts. Then the earth shook. It is a reminder that disasters do not always happen one at a time. Sometimes the storm weakens the land. Then the quake exposes what was already fragile. By the time the sun came up, thousands had been evacuated from Liuzhou. Families were outside, damage assessments were underway, rescue crews were still working, and the question became, how many buildings were safe enough to go back into? The quake hit after midnight, but the aftermath lasted long after sunrise. For earthquake tracking, severe weather alerts, wildfire updates, and real-time Earth event stories, go to StormScapes.xyz, because sometimes the scariest shaking is the one that hits while everyone is asleep.